Hello once again, I'm Brian Sapinski from Lost and Silver Productions, and welcome to this week's Game Show Talk and Fun Lightning Rounds. And if I sound a little more somber on this video as opposed to the other ones that we've done in the past, or at least that I've done in the past, it's because I am. I'll explain why as we go through this. Because this week actually we have only one item to speak of. There's actually several more we wish to talk about here, but given that so many of them are devoted to American Ninja Warrior, which just completed its run this past Monday, we actually decided that next week's Game Show Talk and Fun podcast on Friday night, September 23rd, live here on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to actually devote it to a post-season wrap-up of this year's American Ninja Warrior and talk about all the news that is planned on coming for both the fall and, of course, the following year. So there's so much to cover. We're going to devote a whole show to it next week. So really, when we looked at everything else in the news this week, there was actually only one other item that really came to attention, and this showed up on the website Digital Spy and was also covered on Game Show Newsnet. Our good friends over there brought this article up just the other day, and it is a bit of a sad story. I should perhaps, for those who are not initiated, I'll just let you know this story, and forgive me if I'm babbling here on this one, because like I said, no, this is kind of a sad piece, and it has sort of a happy ending to it, if you want to think of it that way. I should explain that for any non-hardcore game show fans that happen to come upon this video, some of you may not have maybe a full understanding as to why the article I'm about to say has sort of a really, deeper meaning for not just myself, but for the other major hardcores here. So I'm going to first just give you a little brief history as to a friend of ours from many years ago who is now no longer with us, and a sad story that came with it. The gentleman that you see here in this picture is from many years ago in his youth, a fellow by the name of Randy Amacia. He was a very great friend to us in the hardcore game show community. The picture that you see here is from one of his few actual game show appearances. His first, as a matter of fact, when he appeared in 1979 on a short-lived television game show on CBS called Whew. Yes, it's weird to pronounce, as you might guess. Anyway, Randy was on the show for 2 episodes, on the second of which, after he had just won his first match at the end of the previous episode, he proceeded to defeat the Gauntlet of Villains bonus rounds to collect $25,000, leaving the show with over 26 grand in cash. He never had a copy of his second episode where he actually defeated the Gauntlet. He searched tirelessly forever and ever while continuing to be a member of our game show faithful. Unfortunately, he succumbs to throat cancer back in December of 2001, and to this day we still miss him terribly. My wife Andrea and I, especially, because we honeymooned out in Disneyland in California in the summer of 2001, and he actually drove up from North Hollywood one day during our honeymoon to meet us for dinner, and it was just an incredible experience. We couldn't have asked for such a better gesture from such a great friend. So believe me, we miss him terribly. Anyway, the point of the story here is that in his final days, his friends that were with him made a huge last-ditch effort to try to find that second Wheel episode of his, and somehow, some way, they managed to come in contact with one of, at least if I remember correctly, one of the producers of the show, who was able to get both episodes burned off and to send it to him so that he could finally be able to see it. Unfortunately, the package got to his house 2 hours too late. It was a very sad story. We were all heartbroken by it. And pretty much since those 2 episodes have gone around now many times in the trading circuit. I have my own copy of it as well. Many people do. You could actually probably find his 2 episodes on YouTube now from some people that have it. But yes, he was truly a great guy, and we still miss him terribly 15 years later. Anyway, the reason I bring up all this history is because this week a similar kind of story came to light across the pond in the UK, and thankfully it has a little bit of a happier ending. In late 2015, a lady by the name of Lucy Booth, seen here along with her mother Jackie, taped an episode of the British game show Pointless. The episode was scheduled to air in late July, but it was preempted due to a schedule change. During the time in between, Lucy unfortunately succumbs to breast cancer and passed away on August 9th. Now, in a similar vein to what happened to Randy, her family made a huge plea to Pointless host Alexander Armstrong to actually go so far as to secure a copy of her episode so that she could see it in her dying days before she passed on. And thankfully this time, when the request was made, producers from Endemol were able to act quickly enough and send Lucy a video link to her episode so that she could watch it online with her mom before it aired on television. The episode ultimately did air on September 14th, and as a memory to her, they did place a in-memory card devoted to Lucy at the end of the episode. So that's our story here. Again, a very sad story, and like I said, for those of us in the the game show community, it just gives us memories of our old friends. So that at least, like I said, this one ended a bit more happily. It's never, of course, never happy to lose anyone, especially so young. Lucy was only 38. Randy was only in his 40s himself when he passed on. So it's a shame to lose friends and family like that so young. But hey, as long as we have the memories, and that's all you should ever have, really, I think. So on that note, we will bid you farewell for right now. Again, just remember to join us here next week for Game Show Talk and Fun, where we will do the American Ninja Warrior end of season wrap up and the preview of things to come. And of course, the deals about like, sharing, and subscribing here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Patreon. You've heard us mention those things. All the links are below, so go to that. In the meantime, my name is Brian Sapinski from Lost Silver Productions. You have survived the lightning round, and we'll see you back here next week. Take care.